So one of these videos that I made and ended up deleting was a chickpea salad because I wanted something to eat that wasn't hot because we have been having a heat wave. I live in Phoenix. It's been unseasonably hot. It's been 20 degrees above normal. It's been 100 and it's middle of March. And I wanted to start a nursery. So I planted a bunch of plant starts in February, beginning of February. And I just thought, that's what I would like to do. I'd like to open a nursery and feed the people. They were mostly vegetables, sunflowers, but mostly vegetables. But this heat wave wiped out like half of them, which is kind of sad, but I don't know. I hadn't really been motivated to start this channel yet. It was just still something that was floating around the back of my mind. But because I don't think I'm going to be able to feed my community literally with my vegetables starts. That's kind of just pushed me more toward this channel because I recently quit my job over a disagreement I had with corporate policy in our break room over sharing food. Basically, I was told that I was not allowed to share with my coworkers because they didn't want a mess. They didn't want anything out. They didn't really want to look like anybody freaking works there. And it just went against everything that I believe in, and I couldn't stay. I'd been there for almost 8 years, and I liked my job, and I liked the people that I worked with. But I quit my job over, I want to say over food, but it really wasn't over food. I mean, I'm okay. I'm okay. I have what I need. I have my bills paid for a while. I'm 40 years old, and I never would have in a million years guessed that I was just going to quit my job without having another one ever in my life. But it just kind of pushed me over the edge. I was like, I've had enough. I've had enough of society the way that it is. I've had enough of capitalism and the way that it dehumanizes us. I don't want to participate in it anymore. And I just thought, I know how to do so many things. Surely, trying at least a combination of them, maybe I can sell some plants in the spring, and maybe I can have a food truck or something. Anyway, I'm eating, it looks like cookie dough. I'm eating this. I'm going to remake this video, and I'm going to make this a little bit better. But it actually came out pretty good. I just have some pita bread that I pulled out of my freezer. It's good. It's good. I think next time I'm going to add a little more salt. But it's got curry powder, raisins, apples, and some cinnamon. So it's kind of like an Indian-inspired version of a Waldorf salad. It could use a little more crunch, so I could put some nuts in it. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll get some nuts for it. It definitely would kick it up a notch. And I don't think there's it probably does need nuts because there's no fat in it. I'm hoping to be able to share any kind of good deals that I find around the valley with you guys in a timely manner so you could actually go snag them yourselves. Hopefully I'll have some people watching who are here in Arizona. I don't know how different the ads and the prices are from state to state as far as what's on sale. But the reason I made this was because I didn't want to cook, and I'm on an energy saving plan, so I don't want to turn on my stove or any large appliances between certain times, just because it's so much more expensive. And because I became a prepper, because it gave me an excuse to stockpile food and have all the kinds of food there ever was. I did that, and now I have to figure out how to eat a 5-gallon bucket of chickpeas. Luckily, we make our dog's food, and we use chickpeas in it frequently, so I know that he's going to help me with that. I will say, though, that the, maybe 25-pound bag of oats that I bought, I have made a significant dent in that, because I eat oats for breakfast a lot. I want to make a video about oats. There's so many different things you can do with them. People don't really talk that much about oats when they're talking about prepper videos, but it is one of the best things in my opinion, because it is so versatile. You can make oat milk, you can make flour with it. Yeah. Oatmeal, granola bars, granola. It really is a versatile grain. This recipe originally called for celery, but I didn't have any, so actually I changed it quite a bit. I didn't have any celery, so I was like, I'm going to put an apple in there and make it sweet and see how that goes, because I read online that curry goes with cinnamon, and I read about it on the internet. And I never tried curry and cinnamon together, but what else goes with cinnamon? Apples, of course. And the recipe already had raisins in it, so I thought apples, raisins, cinnamon, curry powder, why not? It's good. It definitely needs salt, because the flavor is kind of mild, and I really want it to be more robust than this. When I told people that I was quitting, some of them didn't believe me. And I told them that I wanted to open a plant nursery, and they were like, well, like, they just didn't understand. They're like, why would you leave something secure, to go sell plants, maybe? And I just thought, well, is it really secure? It's not. It isn't secure. It's an illusion. I didn't trust where the company was going. I can't trust. Entry-level retail job, you can't trust the hours. You can't trust not to be let go right now. Where's the security in that? And even like in security, what does that look like? Security doesn't necessarily mean enough to have your basic needs met. It should. It should. When people tell me, you can't do that, it's not going to work. Like, they're just projecting onto me how they feel about themselves and the lack of confidence in their ability to leave the system. I don't know how it's going to go for me. I hope I don't have to go back into the matrix. I'm going to try my best not to. I haven't published a video and I haven't sold a plant. So I'm technically unemployed, but I feel like as soon as I do one of those things, I'll consider myself self-employed. My work gave me goodbye cards that were happy or congratulations on your retirement cards, because that's how I felt when I left. That's my intention, is to retire from the grind, and spend my days doing the things I love, being in my garden with my dog, watching the butterflies, cooking for my family, cooking for you guys, whoever you are. Hopefully inspiring some of you who are wondering if you're going to be able to switch to a healthier way of living. The food system has gotten so bad, and it's so hard to get out of. I have family members who feel really trapped in it for lack of time, lack of ability, like skills in the kitchen, feeling like they can't eat anything because they can't trust anything. I'm hoping I can make a difference in that. I didn't leave enough whole chickpeas. I should have split it in half so that there was more texture, because it's really quite pasty. Oh, I'm losing a chickpea. It's really quite pasty, and I would like more texture to it. Yeah. What's funny is, like, all of those videos that I feel like were failures, my recipes were failures too. So I guess it really isn't that bad. It's not that big of a deal. Learned, though. That's the whole point. Learning. That's something that really drives me. That quest to find information, to figure something out. And then as soon as I do, it's like on to the next thing. And at a certain point, rather recently too, probably in the last year, I just realized, looking back, in having that personality trait, I have learned so much in my life, and there's so many things that I can do, and there's so many things that I learned that are intricately connected to other things, like fitness and calorie counting and food preservation, and just everything is all so connected. It, almost like I already had my whole life mapped out for me. The first half of it was pretty rough. A lot of trauma and addiction, actually. I wasn't diagnosed with autism as a child. I wasn't helped for that. But I'm 40, so I grew up I entered the school, my school years in 1990, and they didn't diagnose girls with autism. But I definitely, like, it was pretty obvious. At least that whole first like year, 2 years, I didn't speak. When I went to school, I didn't speak. I don't know how they passed me when I wouldn't speak like that. They just kept sending letters home to my parents like she won't talk. She won't open her mouth and talk. Mm. I've always been kind of quiet, actually very quiet. Unfortunately, people assume that, people that don't know me, especially if I'm in a workplace and I'm working around somebody new, they seem to assume that I'm stuck up because I'm not engaging in conversation with them. And they just, like, it comes out. It comes out like what the person's internal fears and their thoughts are. Because they're like, oh, that why isn't that person talking to me? It's because they think they're better than me. They are, like, they think they're better than me. Why? It's like I didn't have anything to do with all of that, all of those thoughts and all those emotions that are going on with that person. Nothing at all. I'm probably sitting over here thinking about chickens. I'm probably thinking about how I'm going to cook a chicken. I'm thinking about how I want to own chickens, but not to eat, but for the compost. I'm thinking about how I can make a recipe with less calories, how I can turn something that I love that isn't so healthy into something that is healthy, and then how can I make it cheaper? Meanwhile, the person next to me is like, God, this person is such a whatever. They're so snobby. And then they walk away mad, and I'm like, I don't know what that person's having a bad day. That's not to say that I'm always pleasant. Definitely not. Especially when I feel overstimulated. For me, it's sound. For sure, sound. And I'm bad at recognizing it in the beginning too. Like when I first start, I really need to work on getting better at that. If anybody watching is autistic or they have an autistic child, comment down below. Like, what is there a sensory thing that's the hardest for them? I definitely think sometimes like physical sensations are hard too. I get really, I get really agitated when it's windy because I feel like it's like the wind is touching every single little body hair, and it's so much, like, it's so agitating, and then my hair is blowing in my face. It's like there's flies landing all over my body. Yeah, there's just so much that caused so much anxiety over my life, and I don't know, like, if I had known that so much of the distress I experienced just in my daily life, if I had known that it was because of autism, I just wonder how different my life would be. I wonder if I would have ever ended up having an addiction, like, to cope with that. Like, if I had known, would I have sought out help in managing that, or would I still have turned to drinking? I was a heavy drinker.
it was extra hard for me to figure out that I'm autistic because of a lot of the post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms that I have are overlapping. And I knew that I had that. I knew that I had that. So like I couldn't see it. And what's really obnoxious is that once I figured it out and I was like, "Hey, family, I think I'm autistic." They looked at me like, "Yeah, we know." Like nobody told me. Nobody told me. I definitely was like the black sheep in the invisible sort of kind of way. At least I feel definitely sort of the odd one out. Everybody in my family is sort of odd and eccentric, the artistic type, a lot of moodiness. I also recently quit smoking. So hard. That was difficult. I'm still having random. I'm just gonna call them like 5-second cravings where I just want to scream and then I'm fine. Anybody else? An ex-smoker? How long does that last? Where you just suddenly are like out of your mind, like you want nicotine so bad you're willing to do anything for it, and then you're like, no, it's okay, and then you go back to what you were doing. But in that few seconds, it's so intense. I'm so thankful for YouTube. I learned so much because of it, because of if any of you watching our other content creators, thank you for creating. Thank you for sharing what you have to share. This pita bread was only okay. I had just saved it in some plastic wrap. I don't even know what brand it was. I'm 100% sure though it was. I bought it at Fry's on clearance on that clearance bakery rack. I typically don't buy bread because I like to make my own. Because of my addiction problems, I've had blood pressure problems for a long time. And switching to homemade bread helped me cut out some of the sodium out of my diet. It's outrageous how much sodium they're putting in food. It's just it's so egregious. You know, at a certain point, you gotta wonder, like, is it really necessary for preserving this food and the taste, or are they just trying to like cause detrimental health outcomes? I mean, there's certainly a lot of people and organizations who would benefit from that, don't you think? But I feel like not in a, I don't think it, I feel like this is, I mean this in a healthy way when I say this, but I feel like taking control of the food that I eat, the food that I give myself, the food that I love myself with, it's really empowering. I mean, when you think about what you're telling your body when you give it certain things, what are you telling your body? I still have about a whole sandwich worth. There's a lot of dead air in this video. Well, that's okay. Maybe you're eating too. Maybe you're eating dinner too. If you are, let me know what you made. I have a mess to clean up in my kitchen. Dishes from a failed video. Maybe I'll reframe that. Dishes from a learning experience I had earlier. I've been looking through this book, getting some ideas. I bought it because I have all those grains stored in my pantry. I have enough food probably for 2 years for just me. Like, hopefully at a certain point I had to stop, and I was like, I think this might be turning into some sort of mental illness. So I need to stop, because you don't want to stockpile more food than you can actually eat before it goes bad. But something that I think is really cool is that when I reach my breaking point with being employed, but being employed by somebody else, I had a year's worth, over a year's worth of food. So I don't have to worry about that. It helped me leave. Being me helped me get out of that. I am so blessed. I don't have a lot, but I have everything in some ways. I can't believe I've been going on for 30 minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna cut it here, cut it off, and say good night to you guys. And I look forward to making my first food video soon. But I'm probably gonna put this next part in between me talking earlier and then me eating. Oh, why am I saying that? I'm gonna cut and paste. You're not gonna know that.